Happy Sunday and happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there, especially to my grandfather, my superhero. And I am so grateful for my father that rests in heaven today. I am so grateful for the life that you lived. And I'm so grateful for the lessons that you taught, whether loud or whether silent, and to each and every one of the fathers. Whether today you are struggling um, to be recognized by those in your family, or whether today you are in a place of not feeling as though you are your best, I want to remind you that right where you are is right where you need to be. And we are grateful for you. We are grateful for each and every father. Today, I want to take a few moments and I want to share with you um, this idea and this premise that many of you may be struggling with right now. And that is, when you are called to anything great, when you are called to anything that is higher than where you have or have previously been, that there are a great number of obstacles and trials that you may have to overcome. Sometimes when we are in the pursuit of what our purpose is, or when we are in the pursuit of fulfilling any form of destiny, we can sit in this spot or in this place where we are questioning one ourselves, but then two, where we can question whether this is really what God wants us to do. And the way that life is set up sometimes, the amount of weight on those that are pursuing anything higher, it can make you feel as though certainly God is not with you, and or maybe this is just not the right thing for me to do. I think that in my life, when I look back over the moments where I have created or I have produced anything that is of any value to other people, there are moments in that thing, whatever it may have been that I was doing, that I have been pressured to want to give up. I have been pressured to want to stop. Even in posting and in sharing and in being there for others, in encouraging others, whether it is on a stage, whether it is in personal lives, whether it is in places of employment, with my family, with friends, no matter where it is that I have attempted to pursue what I know that I am called to, which is to encourage others, there are numerous amount of times where I have felt like this doesn't matter and I might as well give up. And the truth is, it does not come as a labeled give up. It usually is associated or it is pronounced by a series of events that have left me feeling exhausted, devastated, tired, and in many cases, it made me look through a negative lens of saying maybe this doesn't really matter to anyone in the long run. And so, in those times, I have been tempted and tested to just give up. And usually, that giving up, it's a point of just pure exhaustion. Usually, that giving up is a point of feeling alone, feeling tired. Usually, that giving up is a result of having negativity thrown or hewed at you and having to fight back at everything that is thrown your way. Usually, that giving up is as a result of those that are around me maybe not understanding what my purpose or my call is, and therefore trying or fighting or dismissing or not adding to value or adding value to. There's always a testing when you are called to anything great. I want to read a couple of scriptures for us this morning, but this first one is in Psalms 34:19. It says, "The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers them from them all." That denotes that there is going to be obstacles. That denotes that there are going to be things that are going to come at you. And the attempt of those things is to prevent you from moving forward. If the enemy ever sees anything great in any person, whether it is a call, whether it is an assignment that God has given you, the purposes of God on the inside of you, the enemy is after that. It is after that because what his goal is not just to stop you, because he could really care less about you, but it is truly what you carry on the inside of you. When you are gifted to do something, when you are called to do something, there is a power that you carry inside of you. And that power is not of your own strength. It is not of your own might. If you look back at the details of how you've been able to accomplish some of the things that you've been able to accomplish, you know for yourself that it's not you that was able to do those things. That it had to have been some greater power that was on the inside of you, helping you and pushing you to continue and to keep going. When you are called to love, when you are called to forgive, when you are called to make change, when you are called to change the way that things operate and the way that things happen, when you are called to be a trendsetter, when you are called to be one that is called to change the game, when you are called to stand out, there are going to be things that are going to attempt to stop you from going forward. There are going to be people who are not going to understand you. There are going to be people, because that's not their call, that probably are not going to like you. There are going to be people that are going to launch smear campaigns against you. There are going to be people who are going to jokingly, unjokingly, say things to discourage you. There are going to be people who are not going to celebrate your success. There are going to be people that when you tell them what you're getting ready to do next, you're going to hear the, okay. There's not going to be any excitement. Those are things that the enemy uses on a consistent basis to stop and impede your progress. Romans chapter 8, verse number 18, Paul says these words. He says, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared to the glory that is going to be revealed to us." When we look at Paul, he spends most of his time writing gospels and writing scriptures to encourage those that are continuing to press forward to do whatever it is that God has planted them and called them to do. He does this specifically and strategically because Paul understands that there is going to be an assassination against what's inside of you. But you have a purpose and you have a mission, and you are carrying something that everybody else around you may not be carrying. What God is birthed on the inside of you, you can feel it, and everyone else outside of you may not be able to feel it. But it is your obligation to your purpose, to your destiny. It is your obligation to what God has planted you here to do, that regardless of who celebrates you, regardless of who pushes you on, regardless of who tells you that you can make it, regardless of who tells you that you can do it, regardless of who jumps on with you, it is your purpose and your goal to keep going forward. That when those moments of stopping, when they come into your heart and when they come into your mind, that you remind yourself of this moment where you remember that my call and my purpose is greater. To whom much is given, much is required. Luke chapter 12, verse number 48. That many are the afflictions, but God will deliver you out of them all. And the only way that we can recognize and ascertain God's deliverance is if we keep walking, regardless of what people say, regardless of what people do, regardless of how many people join with you. You were not planted here so that you could do it with everyone else. And sometimes the road may get lonely, but you are never alone. God is always with you, and he is helping you and pushing you. When we are weak, that's when he becomes his strongest. I say this to you today as even a father, that sometimes it feels as though it's not worth it. Sometimes it feels as though it doesn't matter. I know that feeling all too well. I know the feelings of days where I don't want to do anything because it doesn't feel like it matters. I know those days where I have to give myself those pep talks and encourage my own self in the Lord, because I'd otherwise just want to bundle up and just kind of seep away into the background. But when there's a call on you, and when there's something that's great on the inside of you, even when you want to give up, It seems as though you can't even find the towel to throw it in because it's not yours to give up. That the calling that's on the inside of you is so much greater than any obstacle or trial that you may be facing right now. And I know that you're saying to me, you don't understand how bad things have gotten. You don't understand how low I have been feeling. You don't understand how much I've been fighting. And it seems like the people that I'm fighting for are actually fighting against me. And that might be the case. But to that person that is experiencing that heaviness, that weight, I encourage you today, keep going. Just don't stop going. You will be surprised where you will be in just a few months, in just a few days, in just a few weeks, in just a few years, if you just keep going. I always relate things back to my physical fitness journey. And I know that when God sent me on this physical fitness journey, I did not understand it. I did not know exactly what to do or how to do it. Along the way, I started to meet great people, and those people would deposit small little bits of information into me of how to do certain exercises. And some of those people did not remain in my life, some of them fell off. And then God would bring more to show me different things. I believe that this physical fitness journey was essential for me because there were seasons and months where I saw no progress. And there are times even now where I don't see progress. But certainly something must be happening because when I look back over the time and I even wear a shirt now, there's a particular shirt that I wear. It's a red Marvel shirt that I purposefully wear every single week. I wear that shirt because I remember when that shirt fit me entirely too tight, where I had to squeeze it on in order to get it. Now I've cut the sides out of the shirt and the shirt just hangs on me, and I'm sure people probably try to figure out, why does he wear that shirt all the time? I wear that shirt purposefully because it's a reminder of how far I have come, because there are moments in my journey where I don't see any change. There are moments in my journey that I don't feel like giving not another ounce of energy. There are moments in my journey where I will be honest, I may compare myself to others and I may feel as though I have not accomplished anything. I'll see people that are in the gym that have been doing it for many, many years, longer than I am, and maybe they're younger or maybe their genetics are different. And I'll look at their results and I'll say, why am I doing this again? And then I'll look down at my shirt and I remember my journey. And I'll remember all of the things that I have had to endure leading up to that very point where I am. And it shows me that there has been growth, there has been change, there has been development. And to someone today, I say to you, while you may be comparing where you are to maybe someone else that you're seeing, or while you may be waiting for someone that you love to jump on the bandwagon and help to celebrate you and help to support you, and maybe you're not receiving it, maybe you're not seeing it. And there can come these moments where you feel like giving up, where you feel like it does not matter in the long run. And to that person, that is on the verge and on the break of just saying it doesn't matter anymore, I want you to hear my words today. It does matter. Keep going. You have come a long way, and there's so much further and so much more that you have to do. But you will not know if you stop now. You know, there are so many people that if we look at their stories, I believe that it is not FedEx, Amazon, and a few other companies that were started, where people had started many companies before that point, and they kept going and they wanted to stop. Some of them gave up the previous companies that they had started, but then they kept going. And now we look at the company now and we're saying, wow, this is an amazing company. But it started from one little small, I believe it was either a basement or a garage. But it was because someone just kept going. It's because no matter who jumped in, whether friends laughed at them, whether friends pointed their fingers and said, what are you doing? It doesn't matter. There were people, I'm sure, that talked about them along their journey, saying that they were crazy. But I believe that there's got to be a little bit of crazy. If anything that you're going to do is going to be great. That there's got to be a little bit of something inside of you that if nobody else jumps in and joins in, that you'll keep going out of habit, out of routine, and out of discipline. It is the consistency of what you're doing that's going to make a difference in the long run. So today, my message is very clear. My message is clear and is to a very specific audience. It is to those that may feel like it doesn't matter. It is to those that may feel like, hey, I'm going to give up on this. It is to those that have started sliding the dream away little by little, not giving as much energy, not giving as much tenacity, not giving as much strength to it as what you were in the beginning. It is to those that have started to hide your gifting of what God has given you. God is telling you today, keep going. Don't you dare stop. You're on your way somewhere. Thank you so much for joining. I'm hoping that today's message has encouraged you, empowered you, and is giving you what you need to just press forward, just to see what the end's going to bring. For those of you all that need prayer, just simply say that right down in the comments, I need prayer. And we pray for you every single Thursday at 6 o'clock a.m. I want to thank every single one of our partners. Some of you have been consistently sowing. I want to thank God. I was away on vacation the other day and someone sent a message and sowed a seed. And that message touched me ever so much. Those words that you shared with me, they blessed my heart ever so much. So consider subscribing and sowing today and sharing. And I'm praying for each and every one of you. Thank God for you. Happy Father's Day, fathers. And thank you for all that you do.